And I'll tell you guys since we're all friends. Every character I write has a piece of me in them. Hi, I'm Lee Bardugo. You're listening to the GrishaCast.
Welcome to GrishaCast, episode 101. In this episode, we will begin breaking down the stories from the book The Lives of Saints. This is your host, Eric.
And I'm Terry. From Nashville, Tennessee, this is your podcast for all things Grishaverse.
A world created by the newly betrothed Lee Bardugo. Moi saviani, casters.
Hi!
Woo! It is nice to be back.
It is.
So, before we get into it, let's say hello to some listener cities.
First, we are going to say hello and thank you to Western Bay, Canada.
Ooh, thank you. And next, Dom Monager, India. Thank
Woohoo!
you so much. So, it has been a hot minute.
It really has. It's a whole new year.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we've taken a nice little break. I mean,
We did.
and yeah, it feels so weird. I'm glad we're back, but it feels weird to be back in the studio.
I know we have to get back into the groove, back into the
Grishaverse?
something.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, and the hard thing about it too is we did finish all the main novels, so we're not even
Yeah.
going back into our normal format. We now are reaching new territory, and it's a new season. It's a whole new world.
It's a whole new.
Aw,
Oh,
it is a whole new.
are you going to grace us?
No, I'm
with your
not.
singing?
No, I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
Oh, so what did you do over our break?
Well, let's see. I read, and I read some great stuff. But yeah, I just kind of relaxed. I watched some shows, hung out with my husband and my kid. Yeah, watched all Ozark.
Okay.
That was good. Let's see. Yeah, I really just try to chill. We did get some snow, so that was lovely.
Yes,
That
we
was
did get snow. We got quite a bit.
Yeah, and not just snow, by the way. It's when we get snow, well, it's ice. We get
Yes,
ice
yes.
underneath, and then we get snow.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's always very treacherous.
those are the words they always use.
Yes.
Like, how are the road conditions? Treacherous.
Stay home.
Yeah.
Just stay home and eat your bread egg
Oh,
mixture.
Please do. Oh, please eat.
Send us all the
Soups.
pictures of your French toast.
Soups. Yeah, and that is the crazy thing about here. And it's happened twice since we were on our break that we had to, like, any kind of snowstorm, like, reference here in our lovely city. People will go crazy. And they go and pretty much it's like the grocery stores are as if, I don't know.
I think that's any like southern-ish area. Like my cousin was posting from Indiana that was happening. They were about to get snow, and he was like, "Really, I just need my Gatorade," and like everything was empty.
It's so funny because it's weird. It's always the same things.
Mhm.
People go crazy with milk, eggs, and bread.
Yes,
So everybody apparently is making French toast.
but what do you do if the electricity goes out? You're not gonna like toast your bread. You're not gonna make French toast. You're not gonna cook your raw eggs, and then your milk's gonna go bad.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why we're doing that.
I don't either. That's my exact point. I was like, you've got two perishable items.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if
You know what doesn't go bad? Candy,
and
chocolate.
chocolate.
That's what we should be focused on, people.
Yes.
The important things when you're stuck in the house. Some chips and dip.
Oh,
So-
that's your thing.
I know.
You are a chips and dip girl. You
Some
would.
chocolate. Maybe some cake. I
Oof.
mean, the important things, people.
You know what is crazy that happened that I didn't. Okay, so I didn't mean for this to happen, but it was great. I was happy. I can't remember if it was the first snowstorm or the second, but I never made a roast before. and I wanted
Oh.
to really badly.
Come on, Betty Crocker.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I got my crock pot out and went and had to go find that kind of meat. And that's been my problem before, by the way.
Uh,
I one time before thought I could figure out how to make a roast, and what did I end up serving Chris that I didn't know until we were eating it? Corned beef. It was rubbery.
You tried.
Yes. So this time, I did get a little help from my friend Carmita. I know she's not listening, but her and her mother helped me out. And I got this recipe, and I went and picked out this big old piece of meat, and I put it in the crock pot, and like it cooked for like 24 hours, and that happened to like fall right on like when the snowstorm
Oh,
happened.
perfect.
So when we were all stuck at home, I was sitting there just enjoying my roast and potatoes, and
Mm.
it was so good. If Chris could actually speak right now, he would vouch and say that was good. Because for someone's first roast, I was very much impressed.
Well, good job.
My favorite was the potatoes, though. And now
Well,
I'm
the
back.
taters are the best thing in the world anyway.
Oh my gosh, and sitting like and cooked
Mhm.
that way,
Mhm.
oh, it was so good.
Although carrots are really good, soaking up all that stuff too.
They are, but
Yeah.
my child hates any kind of vegetable, so I did try. You know what? The whole purpose was to try to get him to eat it, and he didn't have any of it, actually. I just realized. And I don't know whether that's because Chris and I just ate it all, or whether he probably wasn't interested. But, anyways, my first roast turned out well.
Well,
And
good.
I know. I'm excited for the next one because, to be honest, I didn't get the right type of meat. I did get something else, and it still turned out really good. But
It's in the name, like rump roast.
yeah,
Where you go look at the meat.
yeah, and see, my problem with that was when I saw that those pieces of meat were really small. I was like, I don't.
No, that was chopped. You need
It
the
was like
actual like hunka.
okay, yeah, because they were like the one that like I was supposed to get was like that, like it just wasn't that big, and I was on the phone with Carmita and then had to FaceTime, and I was like, so wait, you're talking about I need to get that small thing, and she was like, yeah, and I was like, how about this big thing? Like this is what I really
I
want to get.
prefer to get the big hunka and like put it in the middle and then put the veggies around it and then all the liquids and stuff and all the herbs. Because the inside, what happens is like with the smaller pieces is they get like tougher because they're small. But like when it's a big chunka, then like the middle is super like moist or whatever,
Yeah.
and it'll fall apart, after a while after it sits in there. So
Yeah, that's what it was. It was huge. And like what surprised me was actually like what we put in there. I never done this before. I guess it was like it's called like the Mississippi. You used the Hidden Valley ranch
Mhm.
packets,
yeah.
and then an au jus packet, and then pepperoncinis
Mhm.
and butter.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much what it
Mhm.
was.
Yeah, that's
And I
good.
was like, "What? Really? This makes it?" But it was delicious. Yeah, I loved it. So,
Well, good.
anyways,
Come on, housewife.
I know I'm trying. So, what'd you do?
um, I I had a break from school too, so it was a nice break. I worked on the house. I basically deleted a door from my house.
Wow.
It went from the bathroom to the kitchen, which is gross and stupid. So I totally got rid of that door. I put a new wall in by myself. I did have help with electrical, uh,
Well,
but other than that, I put the drywall up and I spackled and everything else. So very proud of myself for that.
uh-huh.
I watched a lot of TV.
Hmm.
Finally started Breaking Bad.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
everybody
You
in
are
the- don't
now.
come for me.
It's good though.
I'm not one of those people that will like watch this like massively popular show when
Mm.
everybody else watches it because
Yeah.
I feel like it's too hyped up.
Gotcha.
And so I never watched it because I also thought, what is in it like for me? Like it didn't seem like something. But everybody kept bugging me about it, and this really cool guy at work was like, I really think you'd like it. So yes, I do. I'm not caught up completely,
Yeah.
but it's interesting. It's fun. I had to take a break from it because,
It's
it,
surprising.
but yes, it is surprising. And the main character there reminds me a lot of my boss. So
Really?
the mannerisms, yeah. So except my boss is like a homicide detective. So imagine like that kind of like mannerisms as anyway. So
Wow.
I had to go back to work and tell him that he needs to watch it. But he doesn't want to. Uh, and one thing we're gonna just graze over because we're cool
Yeah.
is I am now newly single.
Woo!
That does not, it's not a sad thing, and we're moving on from there. But it's something I feel I needed to share
Sure.
with all of my friends.
And exactly. Celebrate. Eh,
Yes. So
It is time for
your girl is dating again in a big scary world.
Oh, girl, it's okay. We got you.
I know.
Because you're fabulous and you're amazing and you just deserve the most amazing person ever. So I just,
It's time.
yeah.
It's
And
time for the most amazing person ever.
don't worry, they are out there because you, come on, look at you. You're amazing and you're my best friend and you hold me together. And yes, I just know that this person, that when you find them, it's going to be great. And
Well,
yeah.
thanks. We shall see.
And they do have to, of course, like, I mean, I do have to validate them and, kind of go through it. I mean, once you do, like,
Yes.
it's very important that I do
To
like them,
threaten to
to
kick them or cut them or
Exactly. So when you
Yeah.
do, like, get to a point where you're like, okay, a little interested, you just be like, okay, so I have to cut this short, but here is, you're now going to have to speak with Eric.
uh-huh.
Yep. So you can't talk to me anymore.
It's not a fish until you talk to my fish.
Exactly. And this fish will read a.
Mm.
Ooh! Someone hasn't been on the podcast for a minute. Someone just thought they were talking to their good old girl on the phone, but
Beep.
I know. And I did that the other day when we were on the phone. You told me that your kids were going to be on, and like completely forgot about it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I know. But
Whatever.
hey,
We're moving on.
we
Just
are.
like everything else.
And I just ran into. You know what? Things are normal. I ran into the mic. So.
Well, there you go.
Well,
so yes, that's my news.
Well, I think it sounds like we've had a very
Productive?
definitely productive
Yes.
month. And that was a long month.
It
mean,
really
like,
was.
But we needed it. We really have been like going full force.
Mhm.
And what's exciting is this whole new year for GrishaCast is just going to be really incredible.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see where it goes.
Exactly. And I'm not going to say any more than that. We got a lot of cool stuff. So, and what I'm really excited about is we finally are getting to the Lives of Saints.
Yes.
Okay.
Eric's favorite.
Yes. And yes. And I will have the clip next time. I haven't gotten it as a ringer yet, but don't worry, I'm trying to figure out how to make it. But when we interviewed Lee, she did say that the Lives of Saints was her love letter to me.
That
And
happened.
I have that. Yes, so don't worry. I'm going to get it. And next time I will play it.
We're pulling the receipts.
Because I love this kind of stuff. This is my jam when we get into fandoms and like world building is this type of story. When author takes a book that they wrote about and then creates it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Like that I love. So I love the fact and it's called the Story Sancta if we want to get, real.
Technical.
And but it's great. I couldn't wait for it to come out, and it's also kind of cool that it is a prop in the actual show. So
Yes. Yeah. My youngest son sat down and we watched the entire season. Because there's no way he was going to read all the books, but he did sit down with me and we went through the entire season. And I was like, "Does that look familiar? Does that look familiar?" remember the book that's in my bookshelf? And then he was, ooh, yeah. And then just rolled his eyes at me and, 14.
So what did he think of the show?
He really liked it. I was surprised. I was getting ready for a big market thing, getting soaps together, and he sat down with me and helped me, and he just kept saying like, "Yeah, let's watch the next one. Yeah, let's watch the next one." So,
That's awesome.
yeah, he really enjoyed it.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I think he was surprised that he enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. I always hype so much stuff up. I don't. I'm trying to think. Has anybody at my work actually watched it? Yeah, I think there are 2 people, but it's hard to get everybody else, just because nobody else at my job is in fantasy like I am, and yeah. But anyways, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he liked it. So should we just get on into this?
We should.
Okay, because this is exciting because this is new territory for us. So we're not we ain't just being like, okay, now it's chapter 18. And yeah, this is different. This is a collection of short stories and it's amazing. So Lee obviously wrote it, but what's really cool is it actually has illustrations for each saint, and they are done by Dan Zollinger. I think I said that right. And that's really cool because this isn't like the only other graphics that we had in the Grishaverse before this was the Language of Thorns, which really didn't have those graphics are different. It was more like design, but this is actually like pictures that we can get references from, and see a Kefta for the first time, even before the show came out. So it was really cool. So what do you think? The stories like this book. Were you excited about it? Do you like things that are created like this? Things.
Not as much as you.
Okay, I know. Well, obviously, I know.
I mean, that's a hard level to be at.
Truth.
I mean, I like anything that's, a part of a story and that kind of helps tie things in. And so, I mean, I wasn't wetting myself like you were, but
Right.
it's fun.
And also, you are reading along
Yeah.
with us right
yeah.
now too. So you haven't read this
No.
I
Not all of them. I've read in bits and pieces.
Okay.
As something would come up, I would read the story.
So yeah, when this came out at midnight, I before I even had my physical copy, I'd finished it. But yeah, well, it's an easy read too. But what's amazing about it is all the Easter eggs and really cool things that Lee put in here. So if you have your physical copy, one thing that I had never noticed before is it's right after the title page, the page where it gives, all the copyright stuff, there is this, it says, as a wise woman once said, the problem with heroes and saints, they always end up dead. In fact, we all end up dead, but people who steal books have a truly miserable afterlife. I think that was really creative.
That's cute.
It is. And you were the one that called it. I was like, oh, I thought that was Bagra, but no.
Alina said that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a discussion between her and Nikolai. Yeah.
So I didn't see that until literally last night. Yeah. But anyways, going on, the dedication is to those who keep faith with stories. And yeah, then we got a table of contents and then we go right on in. So this is going to be so much fun. I know, I'm such a dork. I'm just so excited about it. So, okay, so the way we're doing this is a little different, so you'll see. So I am going to do the synopsis for our first saint, which is Sancta Margareta. Okay, so the synopsis is in Ketterdam, specifically the Garden District. There was a demon that made his home beneath a bridge, And every day, children crossed over this bridge in 2 lines side by side to travel to school and then back home. And one day, as the children were crossing over the bridge, they heard this voice that said, Yorgi, Yorgi, you'll be first. All day, they heard the same voice throughout their lessons, and they just were like, whatever. So then, on the way back home, after they're crossing over the bridge and they reach the other side, dun dun dun, and Yorgi's gone. So,
Not Yorgi.
I know. And the only one that makes a fuss is Maria. Maria's, I guess, his buddy. Maria was like, well, he was just right here. But so anyways, the kids all go home and tell their parents, but their parents are like, well, I mean, sad Yorgi's gone, but it must have been a criminal, blah, blah, blah. So the next day, they're getting close to the bridge, and Maria, of course, is scared because, I mean, Yorgi's gone. But right before she gets to the bridge, she hears a voice that says, do not worry, I will hold your hand and no one will take you. Well, Maria just assumes it's her other gal pal, Anna, and grabs the hand. But when Maria reaches the other end of the bridge, Anna's now gone.
Whoa.
I know. Maria's just can't keep these friends. So the parents are all upset now again. I mean, another child's missing, but none of them are paying attention to them saying anything about this voice. So here is a quick quote. But in an apartment above a jeweler's shop, Margareta was watching from her window. Her father sold all manner of beautiful things in the shop below, many of them Margareta's designs. She had a gift for the finest details, and the stones she set were brighter and clearer than they had any right to be. End quote. So, introduce our Sancta. Okay. So that morning, she sees the demon grab Maria. So now Maria's up, okay? So, I mean, got her 2 friends. Now the demon's actually grabbing Maria. And Margareta she doesn't know what to do. So she decides she grabs a sapphire and throws it at the demon. And the demon sees it and he, he lunges for the jewel into the canal and throws Maria down. So, poor Maria now is just getting beat up. So she tells her neighbors about this demon, but everybody thinks she seems to be sick, that you must have a fever. However, the next day she watches as the demon grabs Maria again, and Margareta throws an emerald this time. The demon likes it, but this time the demon throws Maria into a doorway. So, I mean, she is just getting beat up. First, Maria loses her 2 friends, and now she just keeps on getting beat up by a demon. It's just, or I hope she makes it through. Anyways, Margareta realizes one day she's just going to be too slow, and she's not going to be able to throw jewels at this demon. So she works all night on the special diamond brooch, and it's so heavy that she can barely lift it. And she puts it in some kind of like slingshot contraption. I mean, I know it's not a slingshot, but that's what something that would throw it. So anyway, she's ready. She's watching the next morning. The demon jumps out, and she releases the diamond that's huge, and the demon jumps in after it. However, the diamond is so big. I mean, it's massive, so it's just sitting at the bottom of the canal. The demon just wants it so bad, trying to get it, it drowns, and it dies, trying to just get this diamond. One little fact is the Merchant Council decided that, hey, well, what else would we do with the body of a demon that tried to, kill our kids? We'll skin it and use its hide and put it on the altar of the Church of Barter.
Okay.
Hey, why not? So that's the end of I'm sorry. Hold on. The end of this story is this quote because it said that many years later, when the great drought came and the canals ran dry, a stash of jewels was found at the bottom of the canal, including a brooch so heavy no one could lift it, and beneath that pile of gems, a heap of children's bones. Every year, lanterns are lit along the canal, and prayers are said to Margareta, the patron saint of thieves and lost children. End quote. So,
All right.
yeah, what a story. So, let's now, let's take a look at this illustration because we finally do have illustrations. So,
Please turn your books
please,
to
please turn to page. Yeah, I mean,
whatever that page
it is-
number is.
It's actually, yeah. 'Cause,
Number 1.
well, no, because Sancta Margareta's page number 1. So page 0. Yeah, but
It is page 0.
it is page 0. So our first illustration, we have a lovely image for our podcast listeners. We have a lovely image of, just Ketterdam. It's a beautiful bridge. There's people traveling across the bridge. And there's this massive demon, a lot bigger than I expected.
Yeah.
And that must be Maria, just screaming. I'm sure her hair's all frizzled. She's yeah.
So yeah, this demon has like horns and like red eyes and a 3-foot tongue.
Yep. Yeah, that tongue is insane.
Yeah, it's gross.
You would think that wow.
Yeah.
But you see, you also see the main part of this is you do see Margareta. She's got well, see, that's a blue
Gem.
gem. So
Sapphire.
okay, that's a sapphire. Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Welcome.
Yep. I got confused. So, anyways, yeah, this is a lovely picture of Margareta just in her window, just trying to save poor Maria before she gets thrown into that wall, and yeah. Anyways, kind of cool. Okay, so good job. I do like it. Do you see anything that stands out that I don't know? I mean,
I think the buildings in the back, we kind of get a little sense of the shapes of the buildings, and
it's probably the Church of Barter, right?
I would think so, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
And then under the bridge, I would think that's one of those canals that you would have a little drive a little boat.
And for the demon to pick this out as his home, it's actually really not that big.
No.
Because it does say that he found this and he picked it out and he's like, this is gonna it's his home. I mean, compare his size.
Right.
For,
yeah.
for this bridge,
it's tall, but it's not very wide.
No, I can't imagine he's got much furniture or anything back there. I mean,
he just sits under the bridge.
I don't. Does he even sit? Yeah, he just stand or yeah.
He just hangs out there.
So I guess for him to get the kids, he's got to walk out a little bit. He's got to walk out onto onto the land a little bit.
Or maybe he uses that
tongue
giant tongue like a lasso.
Yeah, maybe Lee just left that out. Yeah, whiplashes him. So, well, cool. Okay. So next, what do we think the moral of this story is?
Don't be a greedy troll.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Yeah. Parents never listen to their children. The buddy system does not work at all. Well, because she's in it. It specifically is they're in 2 lines next to one another, so it's just the buddy system. But no matter, sorry, and I mean, yeah. I think next, maybe demons are just have ADHD. They just can't keep up with what's going on. I mean, one minute they're he's obsessed with these kids, and then a flashy thing. Oh my gosh, you know what that sounds like? Me.
Squirrel.
I just realized, I see holographic glitter, anything. I'm like, ooh, yeah. Okay, well, so demons aren't the brightest thing. They're not the smartest. And I think any other morals?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I would think that it's don't be a greedy troll.
Yeah, because you'll die.
Because you wanted the kids.
Yeah.
And now you want these jewels, and now you're dead.
Yeah. And I mean, the kids would have made food and actually would have gone a lot further. I mean, these jewels aren't. What is he gonna do? Go buy? Go trade? I mean, or maybe make some jewelry. I mean, That would actually make him look a little bit nicer. He does look kind of like,
Yeah.
I would
Maybe
like to
he'd
see
buy
him.
a bigger bridge.
You know what? He could.
Yeah.
Or he could wear the brooch, you know? Okay. Well, I think some good ideas. So, what one thing that we like through reading all the Grishaverse is that it's assumed pretty much that all the saints are Grisha.
Mhm.
So, from our hints through this story, what type of Grisha do we think Margareta is?
Definitely in the Material Akai order.
Yes. And I think she's definitely a Durist.
Yeah.
Because of the way she works with those stones.
And
Yeah.
she made the brooch
Yeah.
that was heavier than anybody else could lift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the stone, like the stones were like shinier than they were supposed to be,
Yeah.
So she's got some stuff going
Mhm.
on. Okay. So do you have any Easter eggs from this one? I have one that I don't think anybody else probably sees. Or
Okay.
even gets it. This probably isn't an Easter egg even from Lee. But for some reason, when I first started reading this, I read the words Ketterdam and then demon. And I just, for some reason, was like, that reminds me of Kaz for some reason. Like, I know he's not, like, but,
Yeah.
they called him a demon and it's Ketterdam. And I was like, I know he's didn't go and do anything to children, but hey, because there's really not a lot of Easter eggs in this one.
Yeah.
The only thing is they do talk about the Church of Barter and the Merchant Council. We know about them.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, so the Church of Barter is brought up a lot in is it Crooked Kingdom? It's one of them. Because that's the building that I believe is shaped like a hand. So, okay.
Yeah, it's Crooked Kingdom.
Yeah, and the Merchant Council are mentioned, which, yeah, of course, they've been around forever. So, yeah, okay. So, next portion is any references from. Does this story have any references throughout the Grishaverse? And no, I don't. Margareta has not been mentioned in any other like Grishaverse stories that I'm aware of, and I mean, I think it's just this Lives of Saints is the first time we're hearing of her.
Mhm.
So, okay. Well, what'd you think of Margareta?
It's a different take on the Troll Under the Bridge story.
Hey, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It definitely is. Okay. Well,
there's a song
oh yeah.
because, kids, it reminds me of like a song from gosh, what's her name? Dora the Explorer. I'm
What?
a grumpy old troll who lives under the bridge. Ha!
Oh.
I used to sing that when the kids would be grumpy.
Hmm.
But that's what it reminds me of.
Well.
All right, so all of you probably, if you're in your 20s, you probably watched Dora. So you probably know what I'm talking about. And then if you had kids, then you probably know too. Okay.
Yeah, and I no, sorry, I missed it. But I really enjoyed your little
Yeah.
You made a cute
So-
Dora.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, that was fun. Okay, so let's go continue.
Next, we have Sancta Anastasia.
Oh, tell me a story.
So Anastasia was this beautiful girl with red hair and green eyes, and she lived in this place called Simna. Do not even ask me where that is because no idea. Apparently, everyone in town has something to say about this girl. They're like, oh my goodness, she shouldn't be all sad. She shouldn't be sad about her dead mom. She shouldn't be constantly taking care of her dad because she's so pretty. It's like a waste of her beauty to be all like sad and hidden away.
Oh, well, that's just
Yeah.
rude.
Everybody always has something to say.
Goodness.
So one day this illness just like sweeps through the village and it causes everyone to not be able to do like anything.
Like Corona.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
So like literally everyone got sick except for Anastasia. Her father got really sick, he was already sick, but so he's like dying and she hears this voice and suddenly she knows what to do. She has her dad drink her blood. I mean,
Oh.
duh, that's the only option I would think of. Which he said smells like partridge with crispy skin and wine warmed with spices. What in the absolute
Wow.
heck?
So her blood must taste like KFC. I mean,
Yes. I
Chris,
mean, she's got those like secret spices.
dang.
Um,
It's all that beauty.
so her father starts getting better. And this
Uh-oh.
nosy servant who saw the whole thing has to go spread the tea everywhere.
Mm.
So, of course, everyone comes knocking at the door for her blood. Like,
Ugh.
come on, girl, you got to save me. So she, like, can't stand to, like, know that she has the cure for everything. So she travels around everywhere, sharing her blood with everyone. And everyone gets better. And she heals all these people until the last of her blood was drained from her body and she died. She is known as the patron saint of the sick and is celebrated every year with little dishes of wine, which, represent
And, yeah.
her blood.
Well, but it ain't.
So that's
Wow.
bizarre and very vampiristic.
Yeah. And it's so like, it's sad, especially like, I mean, for some reason, not that it's funny, but when she like gets into like, for some reason that she decides she wants to go around and save people and get like, and she's in a cart, like,
Yeah.
and they're like pulling her,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Because she's getting weak, because she's not.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to know that, I mean, like, I don't know. I just think it's very interesting. Like, I mean, she's like, yeah, I'm going to go save people. But I mean, there's got to be like, obviously, like, I mean, people
I
are
don't
going to.
wait a little bit. Like, let your
Yeah.
blood come back.
Exactly. Because, I mean, isn't the last line like she blows away like a husker? Like, I mean, it's like
Yes!
she literally is like nothing.
Yeah, she like just becomes like nothing into the wind.
See, and that's.
So, the first thing we got to do is look at this illustration.
First thing I notice is that beautiful red hair.
So, this to me is very like Bram Stoker's Dracula to me.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. And you can see all the dishes of her blood. And I think this picture, this illustration is very apt because it's like everybody being greedy. It's like everybody like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And she's literally like laying there bleeding to death.
And they have like, if you look at those portions,
Yeah, that's
I mean,
a big old
that's a lot
portion.
of blood for like. I mean, I thought we were talking like just a little bit, but wow, these people are really like, Lord. I mean, that's a that's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
if she was at the blood drive, I mean that much blood would definitely fill up a lot of that.
But yeah, this is very like Lucy from Bram Stoker's Dracula to me. That was like the first thing
I
I
love
noticed
it.
when I, with the red hair and
The hair
Yeah.
is what's, and I think that's what's so beautiful about this picture, because I think it's actually a beautiful picture. It's her red hair just brings something out, and it almost looks like there's it's like she's up against like a night sky. I think like it looks like if you look at it like
yeah, it's very like ethereal.
yeah.
But yeah,
Wow, she's gorgeous. But so what was she the patron saint of?
of the
Sick.
sick.
Okay. Okay. So, if you get sick, we just pray to Sancta Anastasia and yeah.
And drink your wine.
Yeah, tiny dishes of it. That reminds me of Passover.
Yes.
But don't forget that wine tastes like apparently it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with that gum that he creates. Doesn't it like
Oh,
no, it's a thing that makes her a blueberry or something.
yeah, it's a special gum that like changes
Everlasting
gobstopper thingy.
yeah.
Like a jawbreaker thing, but it like changes into like different flavors.
Yeah, but whenever it's gotten to that part, I've always thought it was weird when they're, when you're eating candy, I expect it to taste like candy. I don't want it to taste like a full course meal. Like, I mean, tastes like roast chicken and gravy and mashed potatoes. Like, it's candy.
Yeah.
However, we do have some Anastasia. Yeah, her blood apparently is
Tastes like good.
KFC.
Yeah. So the lesson or the moral of the story, I would say it's like you don't need to give all of yourself to save everyone. Like you have to like save some for yourself. But on the other end, again, it's like don't be greedy. Like these people were like save me, and they didn't care. They're like just watching her waste away. But I would say this big thing is like, don't give all of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. And also, eavesdroppers like the servant. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't eavesdrop
No.
because,
Don't be nosy.
yeah. But
It ain't your business.
it's not. And yeah, she needs to, like, I mean, it's two things. She needs to learn that, yeah, she needs to take time for herself. Time. She needs to, like, save some blood so she can live.
She needs a little me time.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. You have to take some me time.
Well, if she just took some time, she'd actually be able to generate some
more.
more blood
Yeah.
to be able to give more out. But I mean, just doing it in just like this fashion, I mean, come on. I mean, getting in a wagon and letting people take you from town to town, I mean,
No.
that's too giving.
Yeah.
And when you end up being just like turning into the wind, that's,
husk.
yeah. Because what's her dad going to do now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's.
I mean, he's better, but
Yeah, he's better.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So I think you're right. It's there's definitely a line between giving yourself too much
Hmm.
and making sure.
Yeah.
And then don't be greedy. And yeah.
Don't be greedy. So what kind of Grisha would she be? I think this is like super obvious.
Yeah.
Out of all the ones for tonight,
well,
it's the super obvious one.
what do we think? A healer.
Yeah.
The-
I mean,
yeah.
it's
So-
part of the story.
Yeah.
As far as Easter eggs go, like not really, but I will say this reminds me of Jesper's mother.
Okay. Why?
Because she goes out and saves all like the village kids,
Oh.
and remember she got poisoned
Yeah.
from so that it kind of ran parallel
yeah.
kind of in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see the connection between that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's okay. Trying to think if there's any other Easter eggs. I mean,
I mean, other than it like actually being a part of the story,
yeah.
because they do mention Anastasia in King of Scars.
Right, and that's part of, that's our references. So I mean, but
Yeah.
Easter eggs, like little hidden things. I mean, no, I don't think there really is. I do but yeah. So I don't think so. But
Yeah, there's like 3 little areas in like King of Scars. Don't need to like read all of them, but like
some of them are neat though.
yeah. Like there's a painting of Sancta Anastasia in Nikolai's palace or castle
Yeah.
or whatever we want to call it. There's a statue of Sancta Anastasia in Simna, which again doesn't really say where it is, but it like apparently weeps blood.
So, and that's in King of Scars because I remember that one.
Yeah.
Because that was like when all the like crazy things were happening, and so that's interesting. I mean, that was one of the weird things.
And then, of course, Inej names one of her knives after Sancta Anastasia.
yes.
Yep.
And that's gonna be a really cool part because I mean,
Oh yeah, there's a long list.
because we're gonna finally get to all of those.
Yeah, we're gonna get to all of her knives.
Yeah.
Like all of her knife names.
Which I love, and hopefully next time we'll be able to have it for you. If not, you can just go back and listen to our interview with Lee. But Lee talks about writing this book and how like some things were really cool. And she mentions how she was able to write the stories for
Mhm.
all the saints that, like, I mean, yeah, Inej named the knives after, which I think is like, that's really cool.
Yep.
Well,
Your turn.
okay. Well, so this next one is Sanct Co and Sancta Near. Okay, so this is in Shuhan. Okay, so we're not in Ravka. So we're in Shuhan. And a long time ago, there was a king who just went to war over anything so much that pretty much he depleted their army. Like they went to war so much they had no army anymore. So as every city happens to have, there's a clockmaker, and his name is Ko. And they mention he lives in the shadow of the palace. And he has vowed, I don't know who he vowed this to, but he's vowed that he will use his skill to protect the kingdom. So he works all day and all night, merging bone and metal to create soldiers. However, these soldiers are special because they're actually clockwork soldiers. So they're made out of like clocks and stuff. Yeah. By him fusing, metal and bone and so interesting. It kind of sounds cute, to be honest, like when you first read
Okay.
about it, Well, it's like they describe the boots and like the little uniforms, like the little soldiers, like in the clock. I think it's cute. So, anyways, when the enemy starts approaching, the clockwork soldiers go straight into battle. And the things that I guess, are benefiting Shuhan with this is these soldiers never get tired. They never get hungry. They don't seem to get wounded. And hey, they defeated their enemy. So they go on. And the king is so he's just, as I told you, he loves war. So he's like, you know what? How about you just go? I'm not going to stop you. Just keep going on. So he goes and starts taking more territory, but happens to get into some territory that he doesn't need to be getting. So he's getting a little greedy, just like our poor people that took Anastasia's blood. So king doesn't stop him. Now, we have a little quote real quickly. Okay, so real quickly, remember the king. I'm sorry. Okay, take a breath. Yes. The king decides finally, okay, you know what? I've had enough. I need to stop you guys. I've taken enough territory. I'm tired. So here's the quote. Maybe the clockmaker had not crafted them ears fine enough to hear the king's orders. So what am I talking about? The soldiers don't stop. He can't get them to stop. So they just keep going, these little clocks.
The Energizer Bunny.
I know. So we've got this soldier, this group of clock soldiers just going on a rampage. And of course, there happens to be somebody else. There's a nobleman's daughter named Nayar, and she is watching from her village as these clockwork soldiers start approaching her city. And she too has decided to make a vow that she will use every bit of her skill to protect the people. So she goes and she forges and fashions this blade so sharp that it can cut through shadow, and apparently so strong it can be laughed at, or it can laugh at steel. Sorry, it cannot be laughed at. It can laugh at steel. So she takes her sword and goes into a battle with these clockwork soldiers, and after 3 days and 3 nights, she gets them all. She kills them all. And she then goes and demands that the king needs to put his crown down, and the king runs away. And ever since then, Shuhan has been only run by queens, and the sword is named Neshyenyer. I don't think I said that right, but it means relentless, and can still be found at the palace of Amrat Jen and has never rusted. So Sanct Co is known as the patron saint of good intentions, and Sancta Near as the patron saint of blacksmiths. I know, that was a very interesting story. Clockwork soldiers. So let's first take let's take a look at this illustration. Ugh. A little too far. So this image just is pretty much showing us, we're not even gonna see Co. I mean, we just see a picture of Sancta Anastasia with her sword, and that's a fabulous outfit.
It really is.
I mean, I love the detail.
Mhm.
I love the boots. Yeah, those are boots, kind of. I mean,
They're
sure,
probably armor.
armor, yeah, but it looks really cute. And we got to remember we're in Shuhan, so this
Mhm.
is kind of seeing Shuhan a little bit, and at her feet are bones. I don't really see. I mean,
But they've got like
cog.
gears.
Yeah, there are a couple, but see, I almost could mistake them for bones a little bit, but you're right, you do see them.
Well, look on the right. There's like a leg,
Oh, there's a gear.
and
Yeah,
instead
that's
of a
huge.
knee, it's a gear.
Okay, so you're right. Yeah, that is a pretty big gear. So I did expect them to be a little bit more clock-like.
Well,
Um,
it just said they were fused together.
Yeah.
Which does that remind us of anything?
Fusing.
Using things into like the bones of these soldiers.
Um.
The Caregood.
Oh yes, you're right. Yeah, and
Yes.
see this, and that's in Shuhan too.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe yeah,
This might be where it started.
it could be. So yeah, it's very interesting. That is good job, girl. Yeah, wow. Well, and I think this is a beautiful picture, but the whole the center point of this is obviously the sword, Nesh whatever. Um Relentless, and how beautiful Sancta Anastasia is. And so she obviously is the first queen of Shuhan. And it says that in the beginning, actually, before the reign of the Taban queens, Shuhan was, yeah. So, hey, Sancta Anastasia was probably the first Taban queen. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. So, what do we think the moral of this story is?
Don't make clockwork soldiers.
Yeah. Don't create anything that doesn't have an off and on switch.
Stop playing God.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good one. Women always know what's best.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? A woman and a sword. That's just its own moral. Don't mess around with a woman and a sword.
No.
Kill Bill. Yeah. One, I think it's so hot. Women with weapons and, this sword, yep, coming at you, killing you. Woo! And flawless, of course.
Oh yeah.
So, and then, yeah, don't create, I think, don't create anything without being able to turn it off. Because, that was if you're going to invent something, you do got to think through all of the things. And, that's an important one. You're going to create a killing machine and didn't think to figure out how to turn it off. That's big mistake. Yeah. Okay. So, well, Grisha order. Well, I think it's kind of pretty obvious too, and I think we've got two saints here, but they're both the same.
Mm-hmm.
They both create something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got two Durs here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I love that you brought to my attention the Tavkaran. Say the Caregood.
Yeah.
That is just, yeah. I forgot about that. That's really cool.
It's very, very similar. So that
It
might
is.
be where they got the idea from the story.
Yeah. And in the story, it's a little bit more graphic. It says they're fusing this and kind of
Yeah.
body. Yeah. It's interesting. Because to be honest, when we got to that part of the Grishaverse, I never expected there to be, flying people with metal.
With pincers.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. Um, okay, so Easter eggs. I think we pretty much have kind of already talked about them. I mean, we know
Mhm.
that this is the beginning of where the Taban line is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. So references. There is a mention of Sankt Nayar in Rule of Wolves, and it actually is it's a when they're at. It has to do with the palace Amrat Jen, and so I'll read this one part really quickly. I'm not gonna. It's just one of the 6 soldiers, the sacred protectors of Shuhan. Mayu knew this temple. She'd been reminded of it when she'd seen the 6-sided hall at the Little Palace. It was built as a hexagon, the 6 entries guarded by slender garnet columns, the statue of Nayar holding her famous sword, Neshyenyer, beneath a roof open to the sky. This was where Mayu had taken her oath when she'd been inducted into the Tavgarad, and this was where she would break it and betray a queen. So, end quote, and that was Rule of Wolves. So, yeah, we just read about that.
Yeah,
so
we did.
that was cool. Yeah, and I think that is the only reference that yeah, they're newer ones. So, hey, okay,
All right.
moving on.
Moving on to our last story.
Oh,
Sanct Juris of the Sword.
who dat?
Sword. Okay, so there was a general in the Rovkan army who struggled in the winter during a war with this group of men just like dwindling and falling apart. He like calls for a retreat, but as they're marching back, their way is just completely blocked with snow. They tried to make camp, but like everything is going wrong. The fire wouldn't even burn.
That's cold.
So he sits there cursing his luck, going through all the things that happened, just like listing them out. He asks, where is Sancta Urian to feed them or Sanct Nikolai to guide them? And he and some of his men sit around the busted fire, like cursing these saints and just like spitting.
Well, that's a good way to get some help.
Yeah. But some other men started praying to Saint Juris, the patron saint of the battle weary. It says a warrior who had bested a dragon through cunning and strength knew suffering and might hear the pleas of the soldiers. Suddenly, these men hear wings flapping and the earth like shaking. And from kind of somewhere under the ground, there comes like this warm gust where the dragon breathed out fire. It warms them enough that they're able to sleep soundly. But when they wake up, they see that the general and all those men that were like spitting are dead from freezing to death. They start on their way again, and the snow is gone, and there's flowers all on the pathway home. It's all magical.
Oh,
Every year, Juris is honored by placing bunches of red amaranth over doorways and welcoming soldiers and veterans into their houses. So it's not really like a story about like Juris,
No.
really. It's just about like what he's done.
mm-hmm.
So
It's a different take.
it is. It's just like it's kind of like a fairy tale about the saint, not just like
Right.
like where it came from, whatever. So the first thing we need to do is look at that illustration.
Yes, and so that illustration is really cool, and because like they didn't know it was a dragon that like was breathing. They like it seemed like as if it were a dragon. They didn't really know what that heat was, and this picture is a huge dragon.
Dragon.
Yep, and obviously that's got to be Juris. And I think it's cool. I think it's neat because it gives us just some imagery. And we've heard a lot about Sankt Juris though, through our
Oh yeah.
pictures. Yeah. So
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. I do think it's neat. His gloves are kind of like dragon scaly.
Yeah, he's got scales like all through his armor.
Yeah. So it makes you almost wonder, like, I mean, if was it a dragon or like this picture shows both of them. So I mean, like, is he riding the dragon?
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it it's a dragon and it's a guy in blue, and he looks cold. His face is blue.
Yeah, I
Um,
think there's a good kind of juxtaposition between like this blue guy and then this like red and green
green,
dragon. So you're kind of getting that contrast of like what's really going on there.
and is he holding a spear?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, well, yeah. So I mean, he looks cold to
Yeah.
me, like, but I did really enjoy that story. Just because I love the fact that it is like, I mean, that's what's neat is all these stories aren't just stories about like the actual life of the saint, which I think is kind of neat because I think it's almost like sometimes you don't know their actual story. So like they just know like maybe miracles that they've done or things of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So the moral of the story.
Uh
So at first I said don't be an ungrateful cow. Because the men are sitting around like spitting. But I changed that to count your blessings.
yeah. I like it. I've that's definitely one.
Yeah, and something about like not complaining, not focusing on the bad. So, yeah.
Yeah. And if you're in a like pretty like I don't know, a survival like a situation where you could most likely not make it through the night, I know you might be mad, but it might not be the best thing to like, I mean, to spit and like talk dirty about like saints that could possibly grant miracles that you believe
The
that
moral of the story is if you're caught out in the snow, pray to a dragon.
yeah. Yeah.
That's the moral of the story.
Be in pack survival gear, be in the area like I mean, they for some reason I imagined they were in a tent, but they're not. Were they in a tent? Were they in
Yeah,
some
the six men were.
Yeah, so they were prepared. Exactly. I mean, these other people sounded like they were just sitting outside in the cold. I mean, so and hey, just be prepared for snow.
Yeah.
Um, dress warm, carry survival gear. I mean, enough stuff to make it through a night. I mean, come on, you know. And hey, and you know what could happen? You can, if things turn out right, you can meet a dragon. He could warm your bum.
He could warm your buns. Okay, so Grisha order?
So this is it's not a hard one, but it's a weird one because
Yes.
we know what he said, and
Uh-huh.
he's the first time that we ever hear about the merging of the
Yeah.
Grisha powers. So I think I think
I think this one's a little different.
he's an ethereal Kai, but he's also a squaller and
An
an
Inferni?
inferni and a tide maker.
So but yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
This one's a little.
He's one of our main, like, I mean, I don't know. Do you think there's some kind of like patriarchal system of these things? Like, I feel like he's a main one. People, like, I mean, I know this story. We hear about him a lot in the Grishaverse. And I think that's why maybe this story was so different because I mean, we read all about his story, how he fought the dragon,
Mhm.
why he fought, like, I mean, the relationship. And then literally, like, I mean, now we still have his soul living now in Zoya and that dragon. So it's I feel like he's just like, I mean, there's so much about him that we read, which was kind of neat because I was glad that she didn't like write his story because we already heard it. So it's kind of neat to have this like aspect of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's one of the first Grisha, maybe, I think,
If he's even really Grisha, like I don't know. It's a difficult one. I mean, I guess because the dragon is his.
because he's a Grisha. He started out a Grisha, and then he learns that, like, I mean, because in the stories that we read, he was a man, but then he like fought.
Killed the dragon. He went to kill the dragon 3 times, and on the 3rd time he did it. I guess
But times then were different.
yeah.
That's what he tells Zoya, because he was like, back then we didn't have a Darkling telling us that there are different like orders. We
Right.
just
They didn't
were
have the very finite training. They did everything.
yeah. I can't remember but I mean like one of like he was really good like there it was Scholar Inferni or Tide. One of those he wasn't the best at. I can't remember which one
Yeah.
it was, but there was one of them that was like he knew how to do all these, but he wasn't great, and so he found it almost fast. And that's actually one of my favorite parts in King of Scars is his conversation with Zoya when he tells her about his life, and he finally starts to like get her to understand that she's got more power, and it's actually that conversation. It's just it's a really cool moment. I remember it a lot. But yeah, he's a tough one. He's an original gangsta old Grisha OG that can do anything, everything, do it all.
Yep.
Cool. Well,
we already talked about the references and everything.
yeah, I mean
so-
he's all through. I mean he's
Yeah.
we've heard about him a lot.
Yep.
And if you haven't, then apparently you haven't been listening. No, of course you have. But well, that was fun. Like, did you enjoy it?
Yes, of course I did.
I know it's so different. Please, like, excuse us because I mean this is a whole new format, so we were just kind of like having fun. If you do have any ideas or anything like that, please feel more than welcome to email us or whatever and let us know if you have ideas that you would like us to do while we're going through the Lives of Saints. Okay, so. It's been a minute, but it's that very special time for. GrishaCast news! Okay, so let's go live to our Grisha in the field. Alex!
Hello.
Hi!
A minute. How are you guys?
We're good. It is so nice to see you.
I missed you guys so much.
Oh, I know. I hope you haven't been sitting out in the field this whole time, because that'd be pretty cold.
No, I've been moving around doing stuff.
Good. Good. So what's up? What's been going on?
So I am going to re-announce the cast that we got because I don't know if people heard it last time or anything, but we do have our main 4 for next season. We have Louis Tan as Tolia. We have Anna Leon Grofi as Tamar. We have Jack Wolf as Wylan, and we have Patrick Gibson as Nikolai.
It's so exciting.
It is.
Yeah, right? Oh, I was sobbing when I heard the news. I just
Mhm.
sat on my floor and started crying.
I cannot wait. And what's interesting is I had the same question that you did, which is the whole Hendrix, Wylan
Yeah,
Hendrix.
they announced him as Wylan Hendrix instead of Van Eck. So I'm curious as to what they're going to do with that.
I imagine it's probably to keep it a secret.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just like they didn't announce Sturmhond, but they announced Nikolai.
Right.
Dang. Wow. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I can't believe we have them.
All the cast has been posting behind the scenes. We have directors posting behind the scenes from last season, but we're getting some really cute videos from everyone backstage getting their makeup on and everything, and we're getting some Wesper content, so I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. I love the images that came out of, because I think they put the crows out and then they showed the fold. Isn't that what they called?
Yeah.
I thought it was cute. Or the crew, or I don't know.
So
It was really
excited.
cute.
I'm excited. I'm ready for it.
Absolutely. I think it's going
We
to.
also have one huge piece of news. Our Sancta, our queen, our goddess of the Grishaverse, Lee, has gotten married.
Yay!
Mazel tov, Lee! Woo!
I saw that pop up and I was like, I gotta put it in there.
The pictures were beautiful.
She
Absolutely.
looked gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree. They were gorgeous pictures, and I'm just so happy for her. She's
I didn't even know she was engaged.
oh,
We
well,
did.
oops. Sorry, we didn't spill that tea.
We weren't allowed to spill that tea.
No.
That is A-okay.
But hey, now the world knows.
Yes, we don't have to keep the secret anymore.
So there was actually a random piece of news that I found that I made Chris double check, and I don't know if anybody else has seen this, but did you know that they're having a shadow and bone convention in Paris? Yep.
I did mention something about that a while ago. It was moved from January to, I think, May or April or May, because of COVID. It keeps getting pushed back, but the whole cast is supposed to be there.
That's crazy. And I'm just now like really computing it. So
Yes, I believe it's called A Storm of Crows and Shadows
that's
Huh.
awesome.
That's a weird name.
Yeah.
by Empire Conventions.
I'm jealous, just being honest.
Same.
So y'all over in Paris, please enjoy for us.
Absolutely.
Post all the pictures.
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, please do.
Well, that was actually quite a bit of news that we haven't had news in a while. So hey, that's
Not at
awesome.
all.
Well, thank you so much, Alex, and yeah, we will see you next time.
Yes, my kefta better get here soon because it's getting cold out in this field.
Well,
It's been snowing. I don't know what to do.
I hope it arrives. You've got the hat though, right?
It's somewhere here.
Just a hat without a kefta. Well, I hope that arrives to you soon. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. It was so exciting to get news again.
I know. And it was so great to see Alex.
I know.
Yay! So, well, thank you all so much for listening. We do have one shout out I do want to say from Instagram. Hello to Emily Tosh.
What up?
What up? And so, next week we will be doing the next 4 saints. So that is the Silka, Nikolai, Lizabetta, and Maradi, which is, if you're actually in the book, pages 19 through 38, but it's the next 4 saints. Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Long live the Grishaverse.
Like we're at the end of the hour, so my voice is a little husky. A+.
No mourners.
No funerals.
This has been GrishaCast. Connect with us on the web at GrishaCast.com. Send an email to info@GrishaCast.com.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and soon TikTok at GrishaCast.
And thank you so much for Kinder Dantes in year 26 for the background music. And of course, our staff, Chris, Alex, Sid, Michelle, Amber, and Chloe.